I watched two African films that have had a huge impact on me. These films showed how adults use extreme violence and sexual abuse and torture to turn children into child soldiers. The films are War Witch and Beast of No Nation. Many of the Africans that I have met here in America and have had close relationships with here in America have told me that the subject matter in these two films are some of the reasons that they left Africa themselves as Africans. This is why I know Elnora Banks is not an American Indian. American Indians don't want to rape, enslave, or torture anyone. Look back through history, you've never heard of American Indians going to Africa or anywhere else to kidnap anybody, to rape anybody, to make them a slave, to make them a child soldier. This is unheard of among American Indians. But you got to think back also in history that there were people sold over here from Africa. And many of those people that were sold over here were already infected with the poison. So, one of the last conversations I had with my son is that Elnora Banks has been using my three daughters, even the baby who's only 3 years old. She's been using my three daughters to sit on my son, to sexually abuse him, to gang up on him and fight him. And she has also joined in to sit on my son, sexually abuse him along with the girls, and outnumber him and torture him. So he voiced his complaint to me that she's trying to make him violent against his sisters, and she told him at 8 years old that she would get him locked up in the penitentiary. So what choice does he have? To fight his sisters, which I raised him not to fight his sisters? Try to restrain them and defend himself without hurting them? Or lay there and be a victim? As a young man, what choice does he have? He explained to me he felt outnumbered, tortured, and helpless as the only boy. I have never let anyone disrespect my son, not myself, not his sisters, not anyone. And so I know that Elnora Banks is doing this like those adults in those two African films to turn my children into angry brown people that will hopefully lose their eternal soul and their eternal freedom and get incarcerated for life. She's hoping for them to go out and rape somebody, sexually abuse somebody, torture somebody, murder somebody, because she's aroused by these types of things. She's sexually aroused and spiritually aroused by these types of things. So, she has bragged to me on many occasions about her other foster children. She's turned them into prostitutes, warlocks, witches, child soldiers, pedophiles, rapists. She brags about Isamaje Banks being in a mental institution in Texas. She brags about Elisha Banks losing her freedom and being in the penitentiary. This woman, Elnora Banks, is supposedly in her 60s. She looks a lot older to me. But She's not incarcerated, and she's done evil for so many years. She loves to see young people lose their freedom. That's one of her greatest joys in life, besides sexually abusing children. These two films, War Witch and Beast of No Nation, show how adults psychologically abuse children to make them so angry that they can become a child soldier, murderer, and put them on the front lines to murder, to rape, to do evil. People don't realize that this is also going on in America. These people that are just murderers and pedophiles and rapists, they didn't raise themselves. The reason I cannot be a rapist or pedophile or sexual predator is because I hate Elnora Banks to the point that I don't want to be anything like her. My whole life I knew I didn't look like her. And for damn sure, I cannot be like her. That helped me keep my sanity to be the complete opposite of her. The complete opposite. How I was able to maintain my sanity, one of the ways. So, you can look up, you can Google War Witch and Beast of No Nation to get an insight on a child predator like Elnora Banks. She had a video where she had two of her foster children wrestling. I think it's called Heavyweight Against Sister Locks or something. Elnora Banks has all types of videos on YouTube. If I can, I will find that video and post it. I had sent it out before, where she had two of her foster children wrestling, and she's sitting back, not on camera, but since I know her personally, I know she's getting sexually aroused by the wrestling match between the two girls. You know, she's a black devil, a demon here on earth. When I think of Satan, I get a picture of her and people like her in my mind that abuse children. War Witch and Beast of No Nation.